In order to maintain good communication, iDay's ISP and Don't Fall Down in the Hood programs conducts monthly meetings with the parents of the youth members involved in their programs. This particular meeting was not only informational for the parents, but also the students, as a former cop and candidates from this year's primary election came out to speak words of wisdom.
I want to be real clear about our parents. We cannot do this with our parents. That's why I am infinitely very harsh on parents, because it's going on in your house, under your nose. When I call at night and I hear a young person is not in at 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning, believe me, we got a problem. When I hear someone is not sleeping at your house, we got a problem. When I hear that someone didn't go to school, we got a problem.
At any point, if your phone does not work, whatever the case may be, communicate that to us, and that's something we can help y'all out with so y'all can make your curfew call. If something going on at home, y'all need issues with, y'all can call Mr. Archie, you can call me, you can call your home monitor, and they can definitely relay the message to me or Mr. Archie. That's what we're here for.
How tough it was for my mom. I remember the crying and the pushing and the pressures that she felt to survive. But how do we change this cycle that constantly seems to be evolving around and trapping our kids? And so some people say, well, where are you at now? What are you doing now, Kevin Bethel? Well, here's the thing about policing, and I know some of you probably have some significant views about policing. 30 years ago, you know what I was trained to do? Lock you up. That's it. That's all I was trained to do. I came to the academy, they gave me a pair of handcuffs, gave me the rule books, and said, hey, guess what? If you step out of line, lock you up. And guess what? Everybody else is supposed to handle the rest. The courts, they're supposed to be the ones to handle it. The DA's office, you guys handle that. That's not my job. And guess what? And then after about 4 years ago, I started to come to this understanding and said, well, what are we doing? I started to come to this place and say, you know what? I looked around and said, Kevin, I'm born and raised in this city all my life. And I'm responsible for putting young people in the system, and I'm not doing anything about it. How much sense was that making? You know, I'm putting kids in the system knowing that I've made those same daggone mistakes that you have. And not really taking the time to say, can we do something different? Can we do something different with our young people? And so 4 years ago, I started down this path of saying, hey, what does it look like when I put a kid in custody? What does it mean to you when I take you into a prison and put you in a cell block and start that process? And can we do something different? And so as Archie knows, I started a program, and I left the Philadelphia Police Department. So I walked away from the Philadelphia Police Department because I felt so strongly about my passion around trying to find a way to divert young people from coming into the system. But tell me your story. Have you ever had a gun pulled over?
Girl, I'm like, what you mean hands on the ground? I ain't do nothing, officer. He like, hands on the ground, hands on the ground. I'm like, oh yeah? So he put me in cuffs or whatever, and then he gonna put a gun in my face and flash a red light in my face. Like, come on, man.
So what did you do about it?
Yeah, like I feel some type of way. Like,
Okay. All right. Did you complain? Did you make a complaint?
no, because I couldn't.
Listen, throughout the whole entire process, you can make a complaint to Philadelphia Police Department against any Philadelphia police officer by tweeting it, you can text it, you can send it online, you can have your parents call into and have an officer drop off a report.
When bad things happen to us, how do we feel? We feel mad, we feel violated, we feel angry. And eventually what happens to our feelings, if we're mad, if we feel violated, if we feel angry, and we have nothing to do with that, what does that turn into? It begins with an R. It turns into rage. It turns into rage. Right? And when we feel rage, that's not temporary. That doesn't just affect how we behave or feel sometimes. That stays with us all the time. All the time. And earlier, Archie and Larry told you that there are two of us here who are running for judge, and I want you to know that I'm running for judge because I understand rage, and I understand what happens in court. I've been a lawyer who has worked on child abuse, sexual assault, domestic violence, and human trafficking for my whole career, and I understand trauma.
You see, I know about your village because I was raised around the corner from you. 55th and Chestnut is where you're located. I was born and raised at 55th and Grace. You can come visit me anytime. I still live in that community. And I live in that community to serve the community. And why is that? Because when I was coming up, there were special community programs that were accessible to me to keep me off the streets. You see, now y'all got a heroin problem. When I was a kid, there was a crack problem. It devastated entire families. It started the preschool to prison pipeline. It broke down homes. It changed the socio-economic structure of entire neighborhoods. And still, I was able to rise. And you can do it too. You have IDEA. I had programs called Ethna and Prime, Upward Bound, College Bound. What's for you is to talk with your families, to listen to all of your elders. See, for me, the village that raised me was not just my mom and my dad and my grandparents. It was my neighbors. It was my entire community. It was those school teachers who were interested in what I had to say and what I had to eat every single day. You see, I know that there are children who go to school hungry. They go to school angry. They go to school hurt. I know that there are kids who don't want to go to home because what's at home is not as good as what's at school. I know that there are children who are in homes where they don't have heat and they don't have water. And all of this leads to a phenomenon inside of us of hopelessness. I'm here to just tell you, you have hope.